All right. Are you situationally aware? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but let's go ahead and get to it.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, it is Mark Dolfini, Landlord Coach, and I am hoping you are having an amazing day. And yes, it has been it's been quite it's been quite a couple of days. There's been a lot going on in the world, and but I want to back out for just a second, because I think that this whole concept of situational awareness is one of those things that was beat into me definitely in the military. I think anybody who's ever heard the phrase situational awareness has definitely heard that many times in the military, and it's just one of those things where you think, well, what is that? Well, so what is situational awareness? Why is it important, and why should I care, right? So situational awareness, it's basically just short of nothing else, just being aware of your surroundings, right? Just being aware of where you're at. And I remember a couple times when my drill instructors gently reminded me, "Did you forget where you were at?" Right? In their gentle way of reminding me of things. I'm thought like right now, are you situationally aware where there's, obviously we have to try to maintain 6 feet for social distancing, all this stuff, but it's easy to forget, right? Because we're social creatures, and especially people who like to, be around people. It's just one of those things where, are you situationally aware? In the Marine Corps, it's one of those things where, don't lose your bearing in terms of where you're at. Don't crack up even though something might be funny, or don't get nervous just because something's going on around you. Just maintain your situational awareness and stay plugged in. Stay plugged into where you're at and doing what you're doing. For example, I was on an airplane. I was part of a flight crew, and being situationally aware is, I had to have a different level of situational awareness if I was at altitude at 28,000 feet, 32,000 feet, something like that, versus being at 300 feet going 300 knots, right? So different levels of situational awareness because the situations were different, right? And I think that what drives me crazy, especially with our oldest son, he's 14 going on 50, and, it's one of those things where it just seems like he's oblivious to what's going on around him, and it drives me absolutely crazy. Definitely that's the case with our youngest son. So why is that important obviously in business? Why is that important in the rental business? Well, it's just one of those things where I got into a conversation with a property manager. They're not in the local area, about they're actually one of my clients. They were one of my clients for a while, but called and asked what I do when a certain situation arises. And I said, well, what's the situation? Well, the situation was they had a maintenance technician at a property, right? And they're fixing whatever needed to be fixed, and a person arrived home. They were there by themselves. A person arrived home that appeared to be under the age of 18. They said, what do you do? I said, well, do you not have a policy for something like this? They said, no, we never even really thought about it until, the maintenance technician brought it up. And to make matters even more, weird, you had a male maintenance technician and a female, potentially underage person. And it made me stop and think for a second that bravo, number one, for this maintenance technician to have situational awareness to even question what's going on, because, lots of adult films start this way, and it never, I will tell you, it's not exactly is going to leave the business owner in the best spot if, God forbid, something happened, or that young person, male or female, decides to say that, someone had touched them inappropriately. So in this particular case, they didn't know. They didn't know what to do. I said, well, the first thing that person, that technician should have done is remove themselves from the situation. Like, even if it means sometimes you abandon your tools, that would be more important than a potential, he said, she said sort of thing, because no matter what, there's just no winning in that. Even if the person was right or wrong or whatever, there's just no winning in that. So that's where that situational awareness part comes in. Now, so what do you do? What do you do in that situation? Well, I have always coached our maintenance technicians to remove themselves from the situation as quickly as they can and get someone on the phone. Get someone at the office on the phone, on speakerphone, so if they have to go back in the property and gather up their tools, they've at least got a third party that's at least privy to what's going on in the property. Ideally now, where video chat is so prolific, that's something that easily could happen, right? Just get them on a Zoom call, get them on FaceTime, something. Get some sort of buffer that provides an independent third party witness to what's going on, even if it means that they have to, even if it means you have to Skype them in or whatever, right? So that would be, again, that's situational awareness. So some other situational awareness might be what I've seen often happen, and this seems to happen more so with the mom and pop operations, with the individual rental property operators, about situational awareness, being situationally aware, where they will get into a text messaging conversation with the resident, okay? Typically what I'm seeing is that they get way too familiar, right? They're having way too familiar of a conversation with somebody that's a customer. Now, I'm not saying you can't be friendly. I'm just saying you're getting too familiar, right? Like it's you start, and I can't really give you an example, but I think we all know what being too familiar means. And you start getting into a personal realm that's outside of what is actually going on with the property. It has the conversations has nothing to do with the property anymore, and it has a lot to do with them being more friends than a customer and provider relationship, right? Customer and business owner relationship. That's why I'm saying having that situational awareness stems far beyond just having a maintenance technician show up at the property, right? Another example would be, like I would often kid with people, like, if they get drunk and they're not paying attention to what they're doing or what they're out saying, is like, this is how people wind up missing. This is how people wind up in trunks of cars. Funny, not funny, but again, if you've lost your situational awareness, you kind of put yourself at the mercy of the world out there and every predator that's out there to do harm upon someone. That's why I also say maintain your situational awareness, because, in business, in a business setting, it makes total sense, because you don't want to lose your situational awareness if you're having a conversation, or it's easy to get upset with somebody and you start saying things that you probably shouldn't be saying, or, whatever it is. So, hey, Stanley, good to see you. So, that's why I'm saying when you're looking at situational awareness, in the military, it was beat into us, like having a watch that would beep on the hour, right? Well, your watch just beeped and you just put the entire squad at risk, right? You put the entire platoon at risk because you didn't have situational awareness with your equipment. That just one example. Not having situational awareness with your with your radar system, because it was set too far, it was set too low or too high or whatever, and you weren't getting a good read of the environment around you, just as an example, right? Or you weren't using your equipment appropriately, whatever it is, right? That's what I'm saying, maintain that situational awareness. In a business setting, it extends mostly in the interaction with your clients and mostly in the interaction with your customers. So, that's what I would say. Like, many times I have typed that email that I wanted to send, right? And then deleted it and then sent the email I needed to send. Having that situational awareness. Making sure the phone is actually shut off before I start cursing out loud. No one's ever done that. I've never done that, right? I'm sure you've never done that. Feel free to tell me any of your horror stories if that's actually happened, whether in business or personally, if you've ever done that, cursed out loud while someone's still on the phone, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I wasn't cursing at you, I was cursing at the traffic, right? Yeah, no one ever believes you, right? So that's it. So, how situational awareness are you? How much are you staying plugged into what's actually going on around you, and making sure that the environment that you're in, that you're bringing your best, the best version of yourself for what's appropriate for what's being presented for you. If you are a property manager, or if you are of the scale where you are managing your own portfolio, and you're having people that are going over to properties, put a procedure, put a policy in place to make sure that they know what to do if that's the case. If someone shows up, that you get someone on the phone, or Skype them in or whatever. They leave the situation immediately. They're out in the front yard, and then as soon as they can go back in, or maybe they call another technician over or whatever. But make sure that is well understood, right? So that's the main thing that that I would make sure that it's better to have that thought out in advance than trying to think on the fly. What do I do if you've got a male or female maintenance technician that shows up, and a member of the opposite sex who's underage shows up to the property, or they go to do maintenance at a property and the resident's not there, the adult resident isn't there, and they've got the minor that answers the door, right? Just bad juju. You don't put them in that situation, no matter what's going on with the property. I mean, ask them to leave, ask them to go. I mean, it's happened several times where, we're not even talking like minors by a year or two, like minors like who are 8, 10, 12 years old are at the property by themselves. And that's just the nature of the world now, right? So you have to make sure you're protecting yourself with that, and make sure you're maintaining your situational awareness. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys are having, we've got Halloween's decorations already out. Like, I'm not even know what to do with that yet. Like, I'm not even sure that I'm ready for all that, right? But that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please remember, if you don't place a value on your free time, someone else will. Most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take good care.